All right, YouTube, this Detroit's HPTV coming at you with another update on the curious case of Fani Willis. And I'm gonna stop saying Fani. That's not her name. There's no W in there. Command of the English language to let you know that her name is Fanny. Somebody down south named her Fanny, not Fani. She wanted to be Fani now, but it's Fanny. Now, what Fanny doesn't realize is that she overplayed her hand. She went from the same Democratic playbook of race baiting. She made it all about they coming at me because I'm a black woman. But you was a black woman when you made it to be the DA and no interference or nothing stopped you. You are in trouble now because you allegedly slept with that woman's husband and she subpoenaed you and you went on an outrage and a tirade in a church, which you didn't know was going to offend your own community, that you went up in there knowing that you was complicit in what they were accusing you of, and you played the race card, you race baited, as if the woman who husband you was taking those trips with wasn't the one who had her lawyer issued a subpoena. So you did all that double talk because you thought the Democratic Party were going to rally around you and act like it was some great conspiracy from the right to bring you down. When in all actuality, you gave that man over $700,000 and he was a scrub lawyer at best to prosecute the biggest case of your career, one of the biggest cases in the history of this country. You picked a third-rate attorney and paid him Johnny Cochran money. And you did it in our face. And then you marched up there in a church on a Sunday and took that pulpit and talked about how you were being targeted, only to later come out and admit, yeah, we was in a relationship. Yeah, I did this, but it wasn't like that. And then still get caught up in lies. See, I believe the way you're moving, I believe it was affirmative action that you got your job because you don't even think logically. What would make you go up in that church knowing that it was going to come out that you was up in the church line to your constituents? Then you come out and confess. And now you're quiet, you're silent. Because now half of your office is willing to testify against you. And guess what? They're black people. Half of your office is willing to testify against you for corruption. But you tried to race bait and you tried to be the attack dog for the Democratic Party and make sure that Trump couldn't run in Georgia so that Biden could sweep that state. When we was young, if you from the old school like me, the old guys would say, that dog doesn't hunt anymore. See, that race baiting and that shenanigan that you pulled in the church solidified your downfall because now they're using your words against you. Because why did you interject race in that church? It's like they said, you were trying to prejudice a part of the jury pool, that you were prosecuting these racist people that was trying to keep you back. Not the real issue was you had a conflict of interest and you was going to meet up with Biden. You was not impartial. And you know that ain't no way you getting out of this because you kept going to talk to the Biden administration, even sent your boyfriend to talk to the Biden officials. Now he's all caught up because at the end, they're going to follow the money and they're going to follow the lies. So I'm going to do a reaction to the mysterious and curious case of Fani Willis. This is for fair usage under the 1976 copyright for commentary and educational purposes. Let's see what she's gotten herself into.
Lawyers have specifically called out Willis' speech last month at Big Bethel AME Church. The former president's team accuses Willis of trying to inject race into the case, possibly leading to prejudice against defendants. But she says it was not aimed at the former president or any other defendants in the election interference case.
Meanwhile, DA Fani Willis has filed her own motion to try to quash the subpoenas requiring her and her staff to testify at a hearing next week. The hearing would determine if her office should be removed from the 2020 election interference case.
All right, so we got a few things to talk about in this video. Starting with, Fani Willis met with somebody at the White House too, and you're not going to believe who it is. Fani and Nathan are trying hard to block a judge from sending out subpoenas, and there are more whistleblowers coming forward. So let's get into it. If y'all remember, it was Trump's co-defendant Michael Roman's court filing that shined a light on Nathan Wade's multiple trips to the White House. That's when we found out that Nathan Wade met with Biden's White House counsel on May 23rd and November 18th of 2022. He also met with the January 6th committee on May 31st and November 16th of 2022. Well, now we have receipts of Fani Willis at the White House too. According to White House visitor logs, Fani Willis spent 5 hours at the White House with no other than Kamala Harris on February 28th of 2023. It's not known what that meeting was all about, but a few months later in August, a grand jury in Georgia indicted Trump along with 18 co-defendants, which led to Trump's viral mugshot, which only made him more popular with the people, by the way. But I got a question. Why would the district attorney and the special prosecutor on the Trump case need to meet with White House counsel, January 6th committee, and Kamala Harris?
I'm going to interject this one more time. Well, maybe I might interject again. But I want you to see how deep this rabbit hole is and how she dug her heels in and it backfired. Because her own community is offended. You know what I mean? You're offended. And you can't be a moral, an impartial person when you in this much secrecy and secret meetings, you know what I mean, and lavish trips and whatever. You have become just as corrupt as the people who employ you and sent you on this mission. And again, when you interjected race at their church, that was offensive. Knowing when you went in there and the things you said about they was coming at you because you was a black woman and none of the things was true, and Nathan Wade was a good friend, but you failed to say that he was married, you was sleeping with him, and you paid him $100 more an hour than anybody else in the office, even though he was the less qualified. And you kept going, you and him, to Washington, D.C. And ain't nobody bagging up off the story because you need to be fired, along with that D.A. Bragg in New York, Mayor Adams, Mayor Brandon Johnson, all you so-called black leaders, or whatever you are. We see you clearly. We see you clearly as corrupt, as selling the people out for status and clout, allegedly.
In the comments. In a new court filing by Michael Roman, he accuses Fani Willis of lying about the timeline of her relationship with Nathan Wade. Michael Roman claims that Nathan Wade's former law partner, Terrence Bradley, will testify and has proof that Fani and Nathan were romantically linked before he was hired by Fani in 2021.
Immediately at issue, Jonathan, is when the relationship...
Can't you see this? Their own friends and co-workers is telling on them to the world. They want them gone. You know what kind of person you got to be when half your office is willing to whistleblow and tell on you about what they seen working up under you? This is sad. This is a sad case. You know what I mean? And it speaks to a problem we have in our community. We keep voting based on skin color. We're not voting based on policies, based on integrity or nothing. Because she should never have been in that position. Because clearly she doesn't have a legal mind. She doesn't have a strategic mind. She thought that she could go at an ex-president and his staff from a DA in Fulton County office and hire a third-rate attorney that she's allegedly sleeping with. The whole thing was just dumb. It was dumb. And it plays into the immigration. It plays into everything that's going wrong right now in our country.
Between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade began. They insist that it didn't start until after Wade was hired in 2022. But Wade's former divorce lawyer, who's also a...
And she said that like that was really something. Well, I didn't start sleeping with him till after I hired him. That makes it look even worse. Really. Because as a man, if I hire a female to work up under me and then start overpaying her and started sleeping with her, I would be me too. I would be me too. You would be dragging me in the same category with Diddy and all the rest of the lecherous people. You know what I mean? So this is not about race like you think. This is about people overplaying their hand, overstepping their boundaries, thinking that they're more than they really are. This is about arrogance. Even now, she won't step down. She's going to wait until they sit her down because her loud mouth still thinks that we're going to overlook the fact that you have already admitted to most of what they're accusing you of. The bank records don't lie. The sharing of trips, the going to Washington, D.C., the level of corruption, we as the public, we don't even think we've seen the bottom of this pit.
Colleague at his law firm, his name is Terrence Bradley, claims that the relationship began way back in 2021 before Fani Willis even became the Attorney General. That's a huge discrepancy.
It is, and this universe just gets stranger and stranger. Usually a former counsel, let alone a former partner, doesn't come forth with evidence suggesting that you have lied. But what makes this very serious is that these alleged false statements were put into an affidavit, and that affidavit was filed with other papers with the court. Keep in mind, Wade and Willis are prosecuting defendants in this case for making false statements and filing false papers or material with the court. So they are prosecuting people for exactly this type of allegation. Now, that's not the type of experience you're looking for in prosecutors. It's the type of thing that raises conflicts of interest. But if it is shown, and it's being suggested there are witnesses to this fact, that their relationship preceded the hiring of Nathan Wade, they're in serious difficulty. I mean, they are being accused of filing false statements with a court.
And to try to get to the bottom of all this mess, Scott McGathy, the judge on the Trump case, scheduled a hearing on February 15, 2024, to examine recent relationship allegations about Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. But your girl Fani stopped at nothing, because she filed a 36-page motion asking the judge to block subpoenas that would require her, Nathan Wade, and numerous members of the district attorney's office to testify at the February 15th hearing. She called the subpoenas a...
And see, this is what I mean about Fani. Why are you trying to block the subpoenas? Why you don't want to testify? You're supposed to uphold the law. But here you are using political tricks and technology to keep from having to answer questions as to serious allegations and situations that surround your ability to prosecute. But yet you file a 36 brief. I mean, I really think that you got your job by affirmative action because you can't think at all. You know, what you were supposed to do when they came out with those allegations, you were not supposed to say anything. You a lawyer, you a DA. Didn't you realize you had the right to remain silent? But instead of you doing your own personal damage control, you went to the church. You went to the church and you spoke about God, and you spoke about all these different things to pull on the heartstrings of them whatever kind of Negroes them is in that church. And they listened and they ate it up and they clapped. Whatever happened to the separation of church and state? What made you go up in there and then say things that wasn't true? Now you contradicting yourself when you keep lying your way out of it. You keep trying to, but instead of you just stepping down, take a leave of absence, beat it. Beat it. You need to beat it like Michael Jackson.
Fishing expedition and said there's no need to require opposing counsel and other employees to be a witness in the case. And she's not the only one hard at work trying to keep their little corrupt love secrets from being exposed. Because Nathan Wade filed a motion of his own asking the judge to block subpoenas asking for his bank records ahead of the February 15th hearing. He said the subpoena is nothing more than Michael Roman and his attorneys hoping to find something they could spin into salaciousness for a tabloid. Boy, bye. Well, if that's the case, release your bank records and prove them wrong then, bro.
I want to shout out Drama Verified by Nikki. That's what I'm doing a reaction to video. And I have to say that she did a really, really good job of getting her research as it relates to this Fani Willis situation, because she dug deep. She dug deep into him. That's why I'm showing you this.
Hell, we waiting for you and your girlfriend to drop some receipts to show it ain't what it looked like.
This is not any type of political witch hunt. This is a quest for the truth.
Committee Chairman in Athens, Republican Senator Bill Cowser, assuring during the panel's first meeting Friday that their investigation will be fair and bipartisan,
with no intention whatsoever of interfering with the criminal justice system.
What the panel will do is investigate the now admitted relationship DA Fani Willis shared with attorney Nathan Wade, the top prosecutor on the historic election indictment against former President Donald Trump and his allies. They'll also look into allegations of misuse state and federal funds.
And while those two clowns are busy trying to stop it all from going down, it don't even matter, because it's being reported that multiple whistleblowers are lining up at the door and can't wait to testify against Fani Willis. The whistleblowers claim that Fani misused state and federal funds, which is exactly what Michael Roman said in his court filing.
State Senator Bill Cowser dropped a bombshell as the meeting got underway. The committee chair said he's heard from several whistleblowers who are eager to testify.
There are whistleblowers inside the Fulton County DA's office that are raising complaints and allegations about the misuse of both federal funds and state funds.
Over the next several months, the bipartisan panel will look into allegations of potential conflicts of interest and the misuse of state funds. Willis may be subpoenaed to testify.
It's not a given. You know, if I will certainly give her the opportunity, you know, and if I were her, I would want to be heard.
And on top of everything else, Fani Willis didn't accept the subpoena from the House Judiciary Committee after it was emailed to her, causing the U.S. Marshal Service to hand deliver it to her personally. And I'm sure our tax dollars pay for that too. But can somebody let me know what these two are so afraid of that might come out? Because whatever it is, they're working really hard to keep it a secret. Let me know what you think it is in the comments. Follow the money and we'll probably learn a lot. I read this quote somewhere, right? It goes, when self-interest supersedes public service, society collapses under the weight of corruption. Facts. And we have a lot of that going on with the so-called leaders running this country, and enough is enough. It's time to drain the swamp. All right, y'all, so that's my time. So make sure you smash that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss.
Let me hit the like button. Let me hit the like button for Drama Verified. Very good reporting. As you can see from, you know, just my commentary on it, is that we already can see that there's corruption. We can already see that there's lies. We can already see that they have made themselves unfit to prosecute and judge anybody when it comes to the public interest, because they have betrayed the public trust in them as upstanding citizens. Signing to you out, Detroit. Keep y'all head on swivel. Pay attention. Peace. Like, share, and subscribe.